Welcome to the Golf Report podcast. I'm joined by Chris Baloga, the head men's golf coach at Loyola University Maryland. Coach, your team is coming off a recent second place finish at Navy's tournament. Can you just tell me about your team's recent second place finish at Navy's tournament?
Yeah, no, it was great. We played really well the whole time. Pacific had distanced themselves pretty good the first day. I think they were 17 or 18 shots ahead going to the final round. But our goal was to close that gap as much as we could, and we did a pretty good job. I think we had low round of the day that final round by 6 or 7 shots. So, a good field like that, that's all you can ask our guys to do is come out that final round and have a good day, and that's exactly what we did. So
Yeah.
we put the pressure on as much as we could. We definitely ran out of holes though. So
Mhm.
all good though.
Yeah. So how proud are you of your team? They shot one under in the final round, and they opened up with under, seven over. So how proud are you of your team for shooting one under in the final round? After opening with a seven over to start the
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah. I thought 7 over the first day wasn't too bad.
Okay.
We played the conference championship there at Navy in 2021, so that was the last time that we had been at the golf course. And I didn't look at the scores exactly then to know where that round would have stood, but 7 over I felt like was a decent score. So I was, to be honest, pretty impressed that we kept getting better each day and each round after that, which was great. Like I said, Pacific, they just had notably the first round, they had one of their guys, I think he was a number two guy. I don't know his name. But he had probably the most like magical back nine the first round I've ever seen. He had three par fours and a 5 hole stretch that he made eagle.
Okay.
Um, Two of them were hole outs from over 100 yards, and then the one was a drivable par four. He drove the green and made like a 12 footer. And then on 17 is a really hard par three, hit it to about a foot there. So it was like a video game for him on that back nine. He shot the round of the tournament. I think he was 62, I'm pretty sure he shot. So I think he shot 8 under, and that round was definitely the main difference, between us and them. If he shoots even, instead, which is still a great score, we're right there with them. But I've never seen a round like that where, guys just in the zone like that he was.
Mhm.
So but no, our guys in general to improve every day. I mean, that's what we always try and do is learn the course more and more. And they did a great job. So
Yeah. So can you tell me about Gustavo Rangel? He shot a bogey-free back nine in the final round. He got the individual victory. So can you tell me about Gustavo, shooting bogey-free back nine and getting the individual victory?
sure. No, he's always been a good player. Our team's super competitive this year. Gustavo actually did not make the lineup for our first event.
Okay.
So, to bounce back and he won our qualifying to play at Navy
Mhm.
and to not only qualify this time, but obviously win the event is huge. Not just for him, but the momentum hopefully carries forward, this upcoming week at Maidstone for us. He hits the ball great. If you listen to him, he's never satisfied with any shot he ever hits. But he's super competitive, and I tried to. He doesn't bring his phone out anymore for like live scoring purposes. Obviously most of these events now have live scoring, and
Yeah.
he kind of realized sometime last year he performs much better when he has no idea where he stands. So I walked with him the last few holes just to try and, keep his mind right, let's say. And on 18, I was like, "Hey, Gustavo, you won," and he's like, "Oh, I know. My dad told me a few holes ago where I stood."
Okay.
So that plan kind of went out the window, but I'm glad he did so well knowing where he stood and knew the pressures and pulled off the shots he needed to. So very
Yeah, it's
cool.
great to hear about Gustavo that he was able to bounce back, in a big way, getting the individual victory.
Yeah.
So coach, your team has, finished second at Navy's tournament. Then to open the season, got second place at Howard's tournament. So obviously, winning, getting first is always the goal. It's always, great to do. But, how do you think the start of your team season has been, with two second place finishes?
I think really good. I mean, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
There's no rankings out yet to see where we would be at this point, but
Mhm.
just kind of knowing how things have worked in the past, I feel like our ranking would be about as good as it's ever been. through this part of the season.
Mhm.
Um, you know, we had a chance, I feel like, to win the first week, and we didn't have a great final round. Princeton did, and then they beat us by a good bit. This last event, 17 or 18 shots back going to the final round, we honestly didn't really have much of a chance to win, but we fought like we could, as best we could, and really gave them a good run, I felt like, down the stretch. So, it was good. Last year, we had some times where we, again, like the first event where we were kind of in position and fell backwards or barely hung on. So it was great this Navy event. I felt like that was a big turning point for us, hopefully, where again we were in a good position, but we had a great final day, and hopefully that's what we do going forward.
Yeah, well, it's been a great start to your season. And now next week you're going to host the Hamptons Intercollegiate at the Maidstone Club, on Long Island. Some of the top teams in Division One are going to be playing there. Like Virginia, Florida State playing the national championship last year. Wake Forest, Arkansas. So two things. Just tell me about hosting this tournament. How does a team from Maryland end up hosting a tournament? I'm interested, on Long Island, and then what will it be like to have some of those top teams like your Virginia or Florida State or Wake Forest at your tournament?
Yeah, yeah. So this event came about, I guess it would be 6 years ago.
Okay.
The guy that was the chairman of our board at Loyola, Jim Forbes, he's a member at Maidstone, lives super close by. His like rent vacation house out there.
Okay.
So with him, and then we had a player on our team, Turner Foster. Turner finished up his 5th year last year. His dad, Eden, has been the pro at Maidstone at least 25 years at this point. So between that connection with Mr. Forbes and the Foster family, we kind of started out small and we're like, hey, maybe we could do something. And the first year, I think we had 8 teams total, and we try and keep it small. They don't want a huge footprint out there, so we have 12 teams this year, which is the biggest amount of teams we've ever had, and that's we can't ever go above that. And it's we try and have the same. We basically try and cover who the membership wants to see out there. So many members out there are Princeton alums, Yale alums, Harvard alums, Penn alums. So, we try and cover, a lot of those Ivy League schools like that. Georgetown's a super popular one as well. So they've come these last few years. It's been great to have Howard there. This will be their second year participating. And every year we try and sprinkle in, some Power Five teams as well. Virginia actually has a lot of alums as well. So Virginia, I think this is their fourth time playing. So they're like a mainstay for us. They've always tried to have us get Wake Forest. It's awesome they can make it this year. And these other teams, we just kind of changed it up each year with these two or three. So this year we have Arkansas playing, we have Ole Miss playing, and we have Florida State playing.
Yep.
So it's a tremendous experience. I'm probably a little biased, but I don't feel like it's a bad statement saying that this is potentially the best college event these guys will ever play. Maidstone is if you look at Golf Magazine, I think they rank it number 50 in the world as far as best golf courses go. So it's a special treat. The club does an incredible job. We have breakfast at the club Monday, Tuesday mornings. We have lunches there. We have a jacket and tie dinner Sunday night, nice dinner Monday night. Do some great tea gifts through Johnny O. So I mean, it's really as good as it gets. So proud to be the host school there. Very fortunate to be the host school. It's definitely helped us out with some reciprocal invites and so forth. And it's our favorite week of the year. So again, we're looking forward to it. We've had some bad weather in the past. Last year was awesome. The
Yeah.
forecast this year looks very solid as well. So praying that the forecast doesn't change and we get 65 and sunny each day like it says.
Yeah. Well, I live in Connecticut, so I'm looking forward to checking out the
Yeah,
tournament hopefully
very
next week.
cool. It'll be great to have
Yeah.
you there.
Yeah. So last year your team won the Patriot League Championship. And your team also played in regionals. So just what was it like for your team to win conference championship last year and play in regionals?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the goal each year is to make the postseason.
Yeah.
It's very difficult, especially for a mid-major program like us, to make it as to make it as a through rankings. You basically have to be a top 60 ranked team in the country to make it that way. So, for the most part, our best chance each year is through winning our conference tournament and getting that at large bid. So we've had some years we win, some years we don't. Last year was great to bounce back because we had hosted the previous year and did not win. So it was awesome to be victorious last year. It's at regionals itself. So, I mean, it's so hard. You have to be top five out of I think we had 14 teams at our site. Um, it has to be our best week of the year for sure at this point to make it, I would say. And unfortunately, the course didn't really fit our guys' games. It was a very long, challenging test, and it's hard, like I said, no matter where you go, but certainly LSU's course it didn't quite fit for the games our guys have. So hopefully this year, hopefully we can make it again and go to a course that might suit us a little bit better, and we'll give it a run there. So, but hey, great experience. Like I said, it's exactly what our guys teed up for each year is to make that NCAA start, and it's great to be a part of that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with mid-major, college golf because my local course is Sacred Hearts course, and so yeah, they're in the same boat as your team. Mostly they can get to regionals through winning conference championship.
Exactly, and that's the
Yeah,
81 teams that make it. It's
yeah,
yeah, probably 20 or 25 make it, through that way. So
mhm,
it's tough. I mean, we have a good team this year, and like I said, hopefully Bucknell's the host school this year. Hopefully we can be victorious again and give it another
yeah.
shot.
So coach, you've been head men's golf coach at Loyola since 2010. So you've been at Loyola for a few years now.
Yeah.
So what drew you to become a college coach, and just how has your time been, as head men's golf coach at Loyola since 2010?
Yeah, so I probably had a little different way than most to being a college golf coach. I played at Towson University, which is a nearby school to Loyola.
Yeah.
I graduated in 2005. I did sales for 5 years. You know, uh, the best part of my day was getting to the golf course in the afternoon and working on my game. I played a lot of high level amateur events. There's 5 years that I was working. I was like Maryland Player of the Year 2 of those years. So, had a good amateur golf resume. I was never a professional. And the job came open at Loyola, and to be honest with you, I was telling other people in the industry to apply because I was like, hey, this would be kind of a neat job, and my wife was like, why don't you do it? And I was like, I mean, I'd like to, but we were gonna have a child soon, and it was like, it's different to do sales locally and be home by 4 o'clock at night versus, we're on the road, probably spend 70 nights a year in a hotel, I'd say. So
Mhm.
definitely involved her support, and I'm so glad I did. It's been great to be a part of, and it's crazy to think this is year 15 just because it goes so fast.
Yeah. So coach, you grew up in Maryland. Can you just tell me about growing up in Maryland? How you got started playing golf, and then you mentioned you played at Towson University for college. So can you just tell me also about your college golf experience?
Yeah, no, no. I mean, I'm from Baltimore area my whole life. I said Towson's the hometown state university. Got started in the game just going to the course on a random Saturday with my dad and grandfather, just because they let me drive the cart. It was cool when you're 12 years old to do that. Obviously, I think that's kind of a gateway for a lot of kids to go to the courses that promise you can get behind the wheel of something. So. I went then, and I played a lot of other sports growing up, but golf I felt like was a thing I could do and get better at most quickly, right? Because soccer you can do drills on your own, but for the most part you need your team and you need things to do with other guys and so forth. Like golf, it was just you go and you dig it out of the dirt yourself, and you set up your chalk lines on the putting green and you make putts yourself. Like it was. I saw the most progress for me in golf, and that's pretty much what drew me to it, I would say, in high school. Um, I think a lot of kids get specialized earlier these days, but for me, I didn't really take golf seriously, I would say, until freshman year of high school was my first real year competing in things. So I got, I'd say, I think eighth grade was the first time I kept score. I remember shooting, I had the card, I don't know where it is now, but it was 135 I shot. So definitely wasn't great, but then by my freshman year, I think my best score was 75. So I knocked off 60 shots somehow pretty fast, and still waiting to knock off those last 10. But for now we're in good shape. So, but no, I still play a lot of competitive golf. I played in the USGA four ball the last 2 years.
Okay.
Unfortunately, did not make it this past week for next year, so that's going to be a shame. But I still play a lot of Maryland State events and things like that. It's hard to travel myself to go out of the state to play competitive golf when I'm traveling so much for the team stuff. But I just try and stay close to home for the most part. So
Yeah, it's great. You still compete. Talk to a lot of coaches. Some still compete and some don't. So that's great to
I think it's important.
yeah.
Do I wish I could play more? Of course.
Hmm.
But there's something to be said for knowing what it feels like to wake up the morning of the tournament, and know what those guys are going through. It looks so easy from afar, and you watch a guy hit a shot and you're like, what are they doing? Right. And it's like, but until you're in their shoes and you have those butterflies in your stomach or whatever it may be, it's like you kind of lose sight of that fact. So I think again, I wish I could play to a higher level, but I'm still pretty competitive. But I think it's important just to know what that feel is, just because it puts you in their shoes. I think the guys on the team respect it too. I think they like. I don't play with them as much as maybe I used to when I was playing a lot of stuff, but I'll still play 9 holes here and there, and I'll still let them know I can compete and I'm capable. So, but no, I think it is important in my opinion.
That's great. So finally, coach, I always end on this question with all coaches. So for you, you've been, at Loyola about 15 years now. What do you enjoy most about being a college coach?
The players.
Hmm.
Definitely the players, and it's one of those things. It's like kids ask all the time, like, what are you recruiting this year? Like, what are you looking for? And it's like certain things always change, and it's like one year we might need some guys that putt better. So I'm trying to bring in kids that maybe putt better. But it's like in general, I'm always trying to find good people, right? Guys that I want to be around for 4 years. I mean, a lot of these guys hung around for 5 years with COVID, but guys that I want to be around for 4 years and be a part of their lives and have them be a part of my life. So definitely the players is and like I said, I think that's why it goes so fast. It's like it's amazing that one of the guys on the team is a fifth year player, and it's like I feel like it was just yesterday he just started, right? But it's great to be around young guys. I think it keeps me young, it keeps me in shape and trying to eat healthier and things like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely my favorite part.